Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I want to do like a little bit of a list video for you guys. And this is 5 changes that the community wants after the February update. So something I've been noticing in recent videos in the comment section is that a lot of you guys have certain things that you want changed or things that you want reverted that were changed in the recent update. So these are going to be 5 of the things that I think could be adjusted in Battlefront 2 to suit the community better. So with that said, we're going to jump right in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are brand new and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. All of this, including a thumbs up as well, really helps out the channel, so I would appreciate you guys doing that if you haven't done so already. Anyways, jumping straight in, the first thing that I want to talk about is a reinforcement weapon select option. Now in the last update, the reinforcements did get some changes. So the Imperial Rocket Trooper got a different weapon. It's now the E11. The Death Trooper is now the E11D, and the Rebel Rocket Jumper is now the A280 instead of the A280C, so it's automatic instead of burst. So these weapon changes, yes, while I think they're all pretty good, there are certain people that like the old blasters better. So I think the first thing that DICE should look at doing is giving the reinforcements the option to select which weapon they would prefer to use as a player. So for example, if I am playing as the Death Trooper and I'm about to spawn in, I should be given the option of whether I want to choose the E11D as my weapon or the original DLT-19 Heavy Blaster, which is what they had before the update. The Death Troopers did of course have both of these weapons at one point or another, so I think it would be really cool to be given the option to choose on which one I prefer, and maybe that way I can switch out weapons for each map as well. So if we're playing a map that I think would be more close quarters, I could play with the DLT-19, or if I thought I needed a bit more range, I could play with the E11D. I think this would be a really good change, and some of the people in the community have actually said that they preferred the old weapons for some of the reinforcements, so I think giving the option to choose is the best way to go about this, so that everybody still feels like playing their favorite reinforcements, even with those weapon changes being incorporated. Moving on from this though, the second thing we're going to talk about is actually the dual firing weapon options for the ISB agent and the ARC Trooper. Now, of course, the ISB agent is brand new to the game and has dual wielding pistols, but the ARC Trooper was in the game previously and also had the option to dual wield pistols. And something that actually changed with the February update is something that a lot of players are not happy about, and that is the fact that the ARC Trooper's firing option has been changed to a single button. Now, prior to the update, the ARC Trooper, you could use both triggers or both mouse clicks to actually fire off both pistols for the ARC Trooper, or you could keybind it to whichever 2 options you wanted if you're playing on PC. Now it's been changed to a single button, so now you just have to hold the fire button or the left mouse click on PC and the ARC Trooper is going to fire off. They have given 2 different firing option modes with the R1 ability, so you can change between a slower, more powerful fire or a faster, less powerful fire for close quarters. So you get to choose kind of your firing option here, but at the same time, a lot of people have been saying that with these changes, you still cannot fire as quickly as you could when you had the option to fire with both triggers or both clicks. So I think the option that DICE should look at is whether you want to change a setting on the ARC Trooper and the new ISB agent to give the option for double buttons for each firing pistol. So again, L2 would then be your left pistol and R2 would be your right pistol, and that way you can fire off as fast as possible. When DICE made this change, it actually kind of nerfed the ARC Trooper in a way, because depending on how quickly you could actually press those triggers was what made you able to melt certain enemies in close quarters, and if you could fire them off faster than someone else, well then you're gonna have the advantage. So I think the change that needs to happen here is to have some kind of adjustable setting for the ARC Trooper and ISB agent that allows you to choose between 2 button options or just a single button option. I think this would be a cool change and it would make everyone happy all the way around. If those of you that prefer the single button, you could still keep it there, but those of you that liked it before the update could also have that too. Moving right on though, we're going to talk about the third thing in this video, and the third change that a lot of you guys have been talking about is the Cycler Rifle. Now I did post a video yesterday about the Cycler Rifle and showed you guys how to make it a little bit better with certain star card loadouts, and if you haven't watched that video yet, I will link it in the top right hand corner of the screen for you right now, so you guys can go check that out. But a lot of people made some really good points in saying that if a weapon is going to be good only when you equip certain star cards, then it's not really a good weapon. And in my opinion, yes, the Cycler Rifle is a bit underpowered, and a lot of you guys agree that it definitely needs a buff. Now, whether this buff be that the damage is increased, or the travel speed of the projectile, or even the ability to go through shields, which I know a ton of you guys are requesting, I think any of these would be good changes. Now, if that be an attachment option for projecting through shields, a damage buff in general, or even a faster trajectory speed for the actual projectile, all of these options would be good ways to buff the Cycler Rifle. rifle, and I'm sure all of you would agree. However, if you guys want to know how to improve with the cycler rifle and make it a little bit better, check that video out from yesterday. There are some really good tips in there. Next up on the list is number 4, and this is kind of a minor change, and I don't know whether it was intentional or if it's actually a bug, but a ton of you guys have been mentioning it in the comments lately, and that is that the Death Trooper's Sonic Imploder no longer outlines enemies when exploding. So the Death Trooper's Sonic Imploder was really good for like a tactical advantage when you were going into something. When you'd throw that into a room where you didn't know where the enemies were, it would then essentially wall hack and outline the enemies, kind of like Rey's inside ability does. And this was really helpful when charging into a room, and since the last update, this no longer does that. Now, there was nothing in the patch notes on this. I'm not sure if it's a bug or whether it was intentional, but I know a ton of people have been crying out for it to be changed back and actually outline enemies again. So fingers crossed that whether it's a bug or not, it actually gets reverted at some stage and gets fixed to then outline enemies again. And last but not least on the list, number 5 is something that has been requested over and over and over again, and we actually got it in the last update, but it's just that we now want more. So number 5 on the list is more brand new weapons for Star Wars Battlefront 2. With the inclusion of the 4 new weapons in the last update, everyone has been going crazy and they're really happy that we're finally getting weapons. We've been promised new blasters since launch, and we're actually getting some now that aren't equipped to a reinforcement. So the thing that a lot of people are now talking about is that we want more. We want the EE3, we want the DT29, we want the DLT-19X, all these other weapon options that we could potentially get if you port them over or, you know, make some kind of version of the weapons that we had in Battlefront 2015. Battlefront 2015 had a host of weapons that you could choose from, and it was a lot of fun. There was never a point where everyone in the same lobby was using the same weapon. There was a ton of different options, whereas now you kind of have a rough idea of which weapon is best for each class. So I think the more weapons that can be added to the game, you're going to see a lot more variety in gameplay and content and varied styles of play while you're in lobbies. So I think more new weapons would be a really good one to add to this game, and my preference would be the SE-14C for the officer class and the EE-3 for the assault class. Those are probably my top 2 weapons right now. The DLT-19X would be cool for the specialist, and the heavy, I'm not really sure. You guys let me know down in the comment what heavy weapon you guys can see being added, or what you want to see added anyway. But another thing on top of this though, like getting more new weapons, is they could even just give default weapons some attachments so that we can customize those. There's a ton of default weapons in the game currently that we can't actually add any attachments to or change. They're just sort of vanilla and plain, and there's nothing you can do to change them. If you gave some of these default weapons better attachments, that way you could customize them and make them suit your playstyle. This is just another option. It's not a 6th point on this list, it's kind of just an add-on to number 5, but I think it would be a really cool way to go about creating more customization around the blasters in Battlefront 2. So guys, that is everything on the list for today. I really want to know what you guys think down in the comments on these 5 points. Like I said, there's obviously a ton of things that we want changed in Battlefront 2. There's a lot of things that we want, like new heroes, new maps, all of that kind of stuff. These 5 were simply just what I've seen in the comments a lot over the last couple of weeks since the latest update. So I thought I'd make a quick video on it. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you want to see in the future, and we will have some discussions down there. Anyways, as always, thank you guys so much for watching today. I appreciate you making it to the end of the video. As you guys can probably see, we are very close to 30,000 subscribers. So if you guys could share this video around and subscribe if you are new to the channel, that would be amazing. Again, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. May the force be with you always.